which was how can I use the ECD in a educative context, so an education environment. And the cool thing is more and more people in education are using the game, which is really exciting. And Adam Lynch, who's one of our pro elephant riders or training to become a pro, he spoke on Thursday night actually about how he's been using it with teachers. And it was awesome to hear his stories. He's been using it with firefighters and teachers. So that you can imagine, on one level, same spectrum, because they're there about serving and caring deeply for people, but relatively opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to personalities and mindsets, it would seem. But the beautiful thing, the beautiful thing for me when it comes to education is that all we have to do is change the core question again. And you might notice that I come back to this a lot. It's like that framing question is so important, but also the most liberating thing with this game is that the two core questions in the game as they stand are, what do we want our people to feel? And then what do I want to feel? And those are the two sides of the cards. But with teachers, the core question becomes, how do you want your students to feel? And then you go through the process. If you're using it with a bunch of principals, the question, a question you could use is, how do you want your teachers to feel? Because as a principal, you're in a position of leadership. If you're using it overarching with schools, it becomes, how do we want our emotional culture of our school to be? Or how do we want the environment of our school to feel and not feel like? If you're using it with students, it becomes, how do you want to feel at school? How do you not want to feel at school? And then I think the last one, which I've seen being used in families recently, is we don't have a family yet. We're going through that process. We're going through that journey at the moment. But I've seen people and heard of people when their children come home from school, they say, how did your day go? Or what happened at school today? I used to get asked that by my folks anyway. And somebody shared a story with me the other day that they, instead of saying, how did your day go at school, they say, how did you feel at school today? And they get the cards out. And then they pick the cards that they best, that the children pick, the kids pick the cards that describe how they felt at school. And I was like, wow, it's such an interesting and different conversation than just, what did you get up to today or how did it go? Which you're probably going to get good, bad, or depending on how articulate or how open the kids are. So I think within an education environment or educative context, you can use it with teachers, principals, school, students, and family at home just by changing that core question. And as I said, think about that in any environment, any industry, how you change the core question to be most applicable to the environment that you're in or the people you're serving or the people within your community. And the more you play the game, the more confidence you'll have when it comes to changing that question. But the more you hack it and play around with that question, the more interesting I think the conversations become, and also the more targeted your conversations and your sessions become as well. Yeah. So that's how I've heard of it being used in education space or education environments, and how I know other people are using it.